Well, hello and good morning and welcome to the first semi-final of the 28-18 IPA Men's World Championships. I'm Simon Webb, joined in the commentary box by Kevin Barton. We're going to talk you through this match.
Morning everyone, hope you're settled down, ready for what promises to be an absolute crackerjack of a match between quite simply two of the world's finest players.
Yeah, absolutely. I've seen a fair bit of Neil recently, probably too much as I've played him recently and in this event. And I think Neil's in as good a form as I've seen him play, and we've seen on the screen so far this week that Simon's in fantastic form as well. So absolute cracker in prospect.
Yeah, he's come through some tough matches. We've been fortunate enough to see them both, being on the TV or the stream, and ones that I'm sure we'll watch again against Mark Boyle and Mark Farnsworth.
Yeah, that first match against Mark Boyle, what an absolute thriller.
So just to talk you through the plan for today, we'll be streaming through YouTube from now until 11 o'clock this morning, at which point we'll switch to our broadcasting partners at Free Sports, and then it's pretty much all the way through till we have our two world champions crowned tonight, except a little 2-hour break in the middle where we'll need to just go have a little cup of tea and a little rest.
We'll refresh. So a good break from Simon, a great chance to start this match. He's got no problems here, Kev. There's a pretty wide open table for him.
Yeah, these guys are going to be so pumped up, and I think getting that first frame on the board, and we've just seen what the pressure of this situation can do.
Well, I was just about to ask you if you think there'll be an early start from either player here and see if they'll take time to settle. I think we've seen with Simon already that's the case.
Absolutely no doubt nerves are going to play an early part in the early stages of this match.
Do you think the fact that Simon finished his semi-final a lot earlier than Neil, and Neil was still playing at midnight-ish last night, and we went down to a deciding frame victory over Jimmy Carney in the quarterfinals, do you think that'll play a part today?
It's difficult to say. I mean, Neil's such a relaxed, laid-back character. He's probably not going to affect him too much. I mean, straight away, just a little confident double there, just to ensure that he retain great position on this yellow to develop the one on the side rail. So the early indications are that Neil is probably settled the quickest.
Yeah, great first shot from Neil. He's got the perfect angle here to cannon that yellow out. If this shot goes well, it'll only be the black that will be a problem. How would you see him going about trying to develop that black?
Well, I'm just wondering if that black goes in the in this top left corner as we look at it. I think that.
But you think it might be able to sneak in there?
I think that black might just sneak in there. So I think his this yellow here will be his last yellow.
30 seconds.
He'll run that through. We shall see. So wherever you are, whatever you're doing, hope you're going to stay with us and watch a new IPA World Champion be crowned.
Yeah, guaranteed a new winner this week. We lost Jack Whelan in the first round and Gareth Hibbett in the first round. And Craig Marsh was a couple of rounds later, but guaranteed a new winner this week.
There's been some amazing scores, amazing matches, amazing results in the 4 days so far, and I'm sure it's going to continue. I'm not sure how you choose a winner from any of the 2 semi-finals, let alone the final. So
yeah, I think this is even a 4-player semi-finals that we could sort of have picked. Really, we really couldn't pick a winner out of the four players at all.
No, all players showing their quality in the past few days. So.
So you're absolutely right there, Kev. The black must go past this red. It does look tight.
It does look tight, and he needs to hit this absolutely perfect, otherwise
yeah,
the black will just double kiss the red and it won't go in.
Yeah, sometimes when you get the red near the pocket like this, it's a big pocket, but I think this is making it smaller. Yeah. This is very tight.
So for the first frame.
Yeah,
absolutely nailed it. Great shot, Neil Rayborn. And straight away he looked pretty impressive there.
Second frame, Neil Rayborn to break.
So we can see Simon's form there over the past year. I'll come back to that later.
First break from Neil, and he's gone. White's gone sailing in. He's made a ball, but he's gone sailing in.
1 free shot, 1 visit, time run.
So Simon's got cue ball in hand. He can place that anywhere behind the line, and he's got free shot to develop his balls. Try and nudge them into a position where he can clear up. In truth, he doesn't really have to do too much with his first shot because these reds are wide open.
30 seconds.
Yeah, it's I know it's early in the match, but I think this is important frame for Simon to get that uncharacteristic miss out of his system that we saw in the first frame, and just settle into the match now, doing what he does best.
Yeah, this is a very similar scenario to the first frame. Simon's got a pretty wide open table. He's got no areas of problems, no clusters, nothing needs to be developed. He just needs to work his way through the table.
Cued that well.
I guess the only red that could cause a problem for him is the one just below the yellow, and which is why he's played on it now. That was the most awkward red to get onto. But he's done that nicely. It wasn't a huge problem, there was enough space there, but that was the only one that could have been semi-awkward to get onto. Shouldn't have a problem from here now.
That needs to slow down.
Simon's come a little awkward here. He's got more angle on this red than he wanted, and he needs to avoid those 2 yellows if he's going to go down the table and back up. Do you think he could just roll this in and have a thinner black?
I don't think he can.
So
I think he's going to have to bring the white down off this bottom rail, and these look easy shots, but these can be tricky. He's just got to glide that white past those 2 yellows that are stuck together near the black spot.
And there's a chance he could go near the other 2 yellows on the side rail if he doesn't get this right as well.
He's okay. He's played it well.
He played for the black in the centre, but he'll be happy. He's overrun it a little bit, but he's into the corner, no problem.
So he's going into the corner bag. Yep. There he goes, 1 frame all.
So a nice reverse dish for Simon there, settle him down after that mistake in the first frame.
So just some stats here on Neil and his most recent tournaments, his IPA events, and we can see that he's been pretty consistent. And on top of that, he also won the Netherlands World Series.
Yeah, that was fairly recent, only a couple of weeks ago.
And you can see on the right-hand side that generally he takes a very good player to beat Neil. You know, the Ben Davises, the Mark Farnsworth, the Clint Jansons, the Andy Lucases, the Gareth Ibberts. I mean, these are, these are top draw players.
He plays at extremely high level consistently. He doesn't seem to dip too low, so he's always there or thereabouts.
Another huge break from Simon.
Made 2 balls.
Just taking a look at this break. Balls everywhere.
So yellows look quite nice here if he can pop this first yellow to the top left. I think he'll be looking at yellows. If the yellow to the top right as we look, if he can see enough of that, and I think he can, then yellows will be his choice here. It's because of that red and yellow is the reason he wouldn't go reds here. That's causing a problem for him if he went reds. Do you think he'll look to move the black because there's a yellow nearby, or do you think he'll just leave the black where it is and just back himself to get on it and make it down the rail?
I think if you try and predict what Simon Wood is going to play next shot, you're a better man than I am.
Yeah.
I think it looks a nice option to pump this one into the top left, but
it'd probably be more.
Doesn't need to.
I think he'd probably be looking at just cannoning into the red, not thinking about moving the black.
30 seconds.
Oh, that's not gone well.
Just a little bit tentative on that shot, I thought. Instead of trying to punch it, he just tried to get there with side.
Yeah.
And it probably just needed a little bit more power into it, but
I think he probably was playing on the yellow he's on, but because he's being hampered by this red, it makes this a lot tougher. He's okay. He doesn't have to do anything with the white, so it's just the pot now.
It's not going to reach, is it? Is it going to reach? Don't think it is.
Oh, that's a foul.
Sure.
Yeah, it's a foul. He hasn't hit a cushion, so gives Neil a shot on a visit here.
Push that again. It always looked as if it wasn't going to make it. Just needed another turn.
So it's another missed pot for Simon. As awkward as it was, the queuing there. So Neil's got a free shot now. He's going to play the red onto the yellow. He's allowed to pop the yellow in this with his first free shot. Now Neil may well look to move the black, just a fraction, because it was quite nice and controllable to do that. Now he's got a wide open table, and it'll be a big surprise if he doesn't go 2-1 in front from here.
I think the way he's playing, the form is in, and the form is displayed over the last few months. It'll be a major surprise.
Yeah, Neil's chatting to him a few times. He's the sort of player that builds a lot of confidence out of wins, and when he goes on to win one tournament, he really feels that will lead to more and more success. When he's won on the tour previously, he seems to have won very soon afterwards, so I sort of had him as a big favourite for this week before the tournament started. He's doing very well so far.
There's a few different options he can take here, but just whichever he feels most comfortable with.
Just three stop shots now, really.
So his last red.
So a simple black now for Neil to go 2-1 in front. Neil seems to have settled into this match a little bit quicker than Simon. A couple of mistakes from Simon so far, and Neil's made light work of his chances so far.
Yeah, he looks very confident, very comfortable where he's at, in the zone. Happy with his game. I mean, it's a pool player's dream.
Yeah, looks very happy, very focused and composed.
Knows he's playing well. He's got that inner confidence that's been built up, as we said, over some recent tournament victories. So it's going to be interesting to see how Simon can respond.
Fourth frame, Neil Rayburn to break, leading 2 frames to 1. Time running.
Yeah, Simon's had a chance in every frame. He could, if he would right on it, he could be 3-0 up. He's had the chances. Neil's taken both chances he's had.
There's a white. Yeah, always heading in that direction.
Yeah, the white gets kicked in, but when you get the white going that close to a corner pocket, there's a good chance it's going to get kicked in. So it is a bit unlucky, but it's not the greatest break because of that as well. You do not want to get that white going towards the corner.
So Neil's playing well, but he needs to get his break sorted. Fouled from both breaks.
Yeah. Normally a really disastrous thing is if you foul off the break, you fear the worst for the frame. Someone would be slightly annoyed he's cannoned a yellow onto the rail. He would have preferred that to stay a little bit more in the open. He's still got the option to go both ways, but he's no question he's looking at yellows here. I think if when he plays the 2 yellows as a plant to the top or the bottom right as we look now, is he going to be slightly worried with that yellow going towards the 2 reds? Do you think he might play it a little bit firmer to make it come out, or do you think if he plays it quite slowly, he can avoid it going too far?
I think he'll give it a little bit extra. Yeah. And where's that going to go?
Doesn't want this to stay there.
That's unfortunate, although what he can play now is this yellow into the bottom left, and then potentially double the top of those 2 yellows on the side rail and develop the other. So
yeah, he's just making a little bit more work for himself, isn't he?
So that into there. And this one into there. And that'll allow him to develop the one that is almost glued to the side rail. Played perfectly. So that should be the hard work done. Now it's just a matter of finishing the frame off.
Yeah, I think he'll go for the 2 at the bottom of the table first. He's finished very nicely on those 2. Imagine leaving the one over the top left till his last ball. Probably easiest positional onto the black. it would be trickier if he had to play the yellow over the pocket to get on the other yellow. Could go wrong. So he wanted a little bit more on that. He would like to have been able to pot this and just let the white drift and sit on the top cushion. He probably can't do that now. He may have to play the white to the top side cushion.
Yeah, I think he was a bit. He hit that in betwixt and between. I think he was playing off the right-hand rail as we're looking now, just to kiss into the red. I think that's what he would have liked to have played. But he's just not getting through the ball as well as he has been at the moment.
No, this is tricky because he's going to have to probably play cushion first here. Losing a little bit of control of the white.
30 seconds.
Yeah, I don't think he can hit enough of that yellow direct, even though it looks like it's virtually in the bag. I don't think he can hit enough of that to actually pot it. It'd probably just rattle in the jaws. So I think you're right. It's cushion first. But after that, the white is travelling.
Just shows you how fractions in this game make a difference. If he'd come an extra 2-3 inches up the table on 2 shots ago, he would have been so much easier for him. Look at that one, spot to spot.
Yeah.
White finishes on the spot at the top and black is still on its black spot.
So just hit that a little bit thick. He would have liked to glance that yellow a little bit thinner, but he's got a shot at the black. It's a tough one.
It's almost a penalty shootout black, which Simon normally screws in with lots of pace. Most players would play this sort of plain ball, but he really tends to screw these in. No, he's going to play it plain ball.
Oof,
great pot.
I hit the rail at the jaws, but he's levelled it up.
Yeah, I think that's the right way to play it. It's just I've seen Simon play that sort of shot before, and he tends to give it a bit more.
Yep. The white was never going in, he knew that, but nice pot, nice pot.
Yeah, he was creating problems for himself there, but he'll be very happy that he's been able to sort of get over those problems, and that's the clearance that will potentially settle him down.
That's a great shot from our camera in the sky.
Yeah. See the arena, you'll see the seats fill up as the day goes on.
I think everyone's still in breakfast at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, it is early morning here in Bradford. By the time the final, the second semi-final and the final starts, I think it'll be full.
5th frame, Simon Ward to break.
The beautiful IPA match table there. It's been wrapped in a black chrome finish.
Yeah, it's absolutely stunning. Oh, he's so lucky there. He screwed the white straight into that corner and just caught the jaw. A little bit fortunate not to go in off here.
That looked to be heading for the corner bag all the way. Just looking at the stats, quite interesting. You know, it's 2 frames all, but Neil's had 2 breaks, gone in off, and
30 seconds.
Simon's potted off every break of his. But yeah, he's not. It's only 2 all.
Yeah, it's 2 all. But Simon's made 2 mistakes and Neil hasn't, and it's still at only 2 all. So it's going to be a strange game at times.
Extension.
I say Neil's hasn't made a mistake. It was a mistake to going off from the break. Certainly one of them, it was probably more down to him than the luck of the game. Simon's choice is to take reds. He's got the one obvious problem red at the top right of the table. It's a little bit awkward for him to get into that red. He may just be able to do it now, but it's tight. Just wondering, I think if he takes the one nearest the black and screws back, he was probably either cannoning, might be cannoning the yellow in an open place, so might not be able to get there. But he can't come back now. It's actually a tricky little red to get out in the open. He has got a red nearby towards the top, the right-hand side of the table, but you need really good. You see, that's the ball I was thinking, but he was screwing into the yellow, so that wasn't an option. Yes. If he chooses to try and move that red from the red at the top, you've got to be quite precise with your position onto that red. There isn't. If you get too thin on it, or too thick on it, you could. There isn't too much room. You haven't got a big area to play on, so it is tricky to get into that red.
30 seconds.
So he's going to. That's a really nicely controlled shot. He's able to play that cut down the rail slow enough. So he's now got this red into the left centre, the one he's nearest to. And the natural line of this will be to go towards the two yellows and the red in a little cluster. The problem he'll have, he needs a little bit of form here to finish on the next red. So I thought he had the angle to do that there. He's decided to go another way. So he's going to be leaving it till his last ball now, that red, that's a problem. He's only going to have one option and one chance to get to this red. It's always a bit more of a problem when it's your last ball, or you've got, because you could only finish now on the red that he's cannoning. And he looks a little straight on this red to the top right as well. He's having a look. He must have he's got just enough angle. So the key here for this shot is that he needs to cannon into the yellow. He doesn't really want to cannon the red. He cannons the yellow as full as he can see it, just avoids the red, and he should stay on the red quite nicely.
30 seconds.
That's a good shot, but he's really awkward. He can pot this, but he is so hampered queuing that he's going to really struggle to get out for the black. I think he's probably got just enough angle to top through, use the side rail and possibly the top rail to get out just enough. Yes, he has. So that's a better shot than it looked. Very much helped by the fact that he's quite a tall guy, was able to reach that. That would have been a lot more awkward for a few more players. And he's done really well here. Leaving that red till last wasn't ideal for him, but he's negotiated that very well. So he's just got this black to go 3-2 up. Absolute. Oh no. I just think he's absolutely slammed that in with a lot of pace. Not sure why he hit it so hard, but the white's flying around the table, and he's been. You can say he's been unlucky, but he also did he need to hit it that hard?
Well, that is.
That's absolutely massive. He did some really hard work in that frame, and it's another mistake from Simon. Another foul.
Sixth frame, Neil Raybone to break, leading 3 frames to 2. Time running.
Nice big break from Neil. He'll be very happy to have a gift from Simon in that previous frame. He did nothing, he just sat in his chair and still won the frame.
If only it was as simple as that.
Yeah,
all the time.
That's the first break in this match where Neil hasn't fouled, so that will make him happy as well. He's got a nice big break, but it's a little bit awkward, this table.
30 seconds.
Probably argue that red's a Well, yellow's probably easier than red's here, but he's got just those 2 yellows at the top of the table.
Which I think he's getting into now.
He didn't want to flick the red, did he? He just wanted to avoid the red, cannon the yellow, and the yellow might have gone up the table a fraction more. It just took a little bit of pace out of that white.
I'm just thinking about Simon's two big matches that he had yesterday against Mark Boyle and Mark Farnsworth, and just you know, how much that may have taken out of him.
Yeah, they're both.
Seconds.
But not just that. He also had a deciding set victory over Dan Davey. So he's had some real battles. He's had to fight very, very hard to get to this stage. Much harder than Neil, although Neil did have a deciding frame victory himself last night, but that was his. I think that's the first. Oh, he has been pushed. To be fair, he got pushed by Liam Dunster the previous round. So both of these players have been pushed all the way.
Yeah. Yeah, Neil was 2 sets to 0 up against Liam Dunster, and that went to a deciding set. And as you said, he was playing Jimmy Carney last night, and that went to the deciding frame. He was 3-1 down in the last set, was Neil. And managed to get over the line. That's all that matters.
So do you think he's going to leave the yellow on the side rail as his last ball, or do you think, and just to drop it down the rail? Or do you think he's thinking...
I don't think he's got any choice but to leave that to the end. I think the black will go into that bag. So he needs to leave himself pretty much on this side rail, and he's got the perfect angle to do that.
Yeah, he wants to get somewhere near the middle pocket. He would probably look to be just above the middle pocket. Doesn't want to risk going in there. You can't, as straight as possible, really, just an inch or 2 off the cushion, just so the white can bump on and off. It'd be absolutely perfect here. And that is absolutely perfect. Doesn't have to do anything with the white, just make the pot.
Yeah, but these have got to be potted down the rail. World Championship semi-final, nothing comes easy. We're just thinking of stroking this in. And if he does, great chance of taking the first set.
Yeah, you feel that if he makes this yellow, he'll make no mistakes with the black. So this first set seems to hinge on this yellow.
Concentration there.
Great shot.
Absolutely nailed it. It never left the cushion, did it? It was glued.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Great shot. Leaves himself the simple task of this black. Doesn't have to worry about the white. He's just going to cannon into that red. So fairly simple black for the first set.
There he goes, and there the black disappears.
Neil Rayburn.
Key shot on this set's got to be that in off on the black for Simon. He looked like taking a 3-2 lead and would have put some pressure on Neil with his break, but Neil came to the table with that gift and a break dish to win the set.
And a very warm welcome to the 2018 IPA World Championships live from the Cedar Court Hotel here in Bradford. We've been live throughout the week here on Free Sports. So pleased you could join us again. It is crunch time. It's semi-finals and finals day today. Real atmosphere building around the building. And we are so excited to bring you the semi-finals here. We are already slightly underway in our first one. This is Simon Ward taking on Neil Raybone. Neil leads by 1-0, best of 5. And here are the stats from the first set as we join it just before the start of the second. Stephen Jamieson here with you alongside Kevin Barton to bring you through this match. And Kevin, brilliant first set, particularly for Neil here. 2 fouls from the break, but he's managed to grind out the win.
Yeah, Neil was pretty solid in that set, to be honest. Simon looked a little bit edgy at the start, and the turning point in that set was definitely at 2-all when Simon put the black into the corner, and you could say unluckily, and here's the shot. The white kisses the yellow and the white flies in the middle bag, giving Neil the advantage in the set, and then he did what he did best and break and finish in the next frame to win the set. So it's Neil who looks in control at the moment.
Yeah, should be a really close one, this one. Neil came into this one seeded 5, Simon seeded 8. We've seen Simon a couple of times on Free Sports this week. First time we've seen Neil. Had to bide his time to get onto the big show stage here. But here he is. And break right down the heart, and he's got one down. It's a solid enough start. He left himself a slightly awkward white, but here's the break once again.
Yeah, that white was heading for the corner bag, and a couple of nice little nudges, and that avoided knocking the white in, and a red goes in. So he's probably looking at this red, and I just the red nearest the top rail. He's looking to see if that passes past this yellow.
Yeah, he's called his extension, which is not uncommon, especially at the start of the break.
He's just looking to see if that goes into there. It must be really tight.
Could maybe just play it cushion first if he plays it soft enough.
Even with my eyes, I don't think that goes.
Balls are spread really nicely here. He just needs to figure out this first shot.
Yep, he's looking to clip that into there. Looks pretty close. Where's the white going?
Foul.
He's just lost control of the white. Played the pop beautifully there, Neil. Really, really nice thin cut into the middle. Just lost grip of the white.
And again, another unlucky kiss. It's just changed the direction completely of the white ball. That's the last place Neil would have expected it to end up. There's a little look of disbelief on his face there.
Well, from Simon's perspective, as we saw from what happened in the first set, he'll be thinking, that's my one back.
Yep, he'll be thinking that's could be a turning point already in this set. You just never know how it could pan out.
So he's got himself a free shot here, just to set things up. He's just freed that red.
Yeah, Neil sat in his chair, thinking that he should have been at the table. Nothing he can do when he's there. Just got to sit and hope and pray.
As I mentioned, I've seen Simon a few times already this week. We saw him in our very first game of the competition against very highly rated amateur Mark Boyle. That one went the very, very distance, right down to the deciding frame. He's had a few of these games, Simon. Really had to work hard throughout the course this week. There's been no gimmies. He's had a very tough route to the semi-finals.
He has, and we were talking earlier on commentary about how much that may or may not have taken out of him. we'll see as the match develops.
It's interesting, yesterday he played the quarter-final against the top seed Mark Farnsworth 15 minutes after beating Dan Davey in the final frame of their match.
30 seconds.
And I asked the question to him about fatigue, and he said, well, put it this way, I'm glad this one didn't go to a decider so I didn't have to find out. He's looking in a pretty good position here, Simon. Couple of reds left.
He's going to screw this back, just like that. So he's just going to put this red and just screw the white onto the yellow to hope for black, and then it should be pretty routine black into the corner. Exactly like that.
Yeah, perfect start then for Simon Ward, who takes advantage of a bit of luck at the start of that frame. This is Simon Ward's 2017, had a pretty good one as well. Semi-final of the UK Open, final of the British Open in October as well. He has, you feel, been threatening a real push at the World Championships here.
Yeah, Simon's one who's always there or thereabouts. He's had a bit of a mixed season, to be honest. I think there's some players, you know, without being disrespectful, who he probably would have expected to beat. But yeah, he's a class act on and off the table, so he's always going to be there or thereabouts in virtually every tournament he plays. You know, semis, quarters, finals, semis of the world. You know, he's a great player.
He really does seem to be playing well this week. Just wonder if actually the draw, which was incredibly difficult for him, everyone wanted to avoid Mark Boyle, who was unseeded heading into it. Just wonder if that really set him up for the rest of the week. Such a difficult first game. Once he got through that, could get through anything.
Well, his confidence must have been absolutely sky high after winning that, because Mark Boyle was the second favourite for the event, and you know, rightly so. He was the man of the year last year. He was unplayable at the early part of the year. Nobody could get close to him. He was winning virtually everything he was playing in. But you know, set format, it's a different animal.
Dry break for Simon there. Neil hasn't got a huge amount of options. I think he's just trying to figure out that top red.
30 seconds.
Yep, so this is looks like it's going to be his opening pot.
Left himself a little close on that red.
I think what he's going to be looking at is the two reds on the right hand side, is to play them as a plant, but he's not going to be able to get close to it from this shot.
Yeah, it's a really awkward shot, this one. A bit of a jab shot, gets the cue in and out very, very quickly.
If he's got a little bit of angle, he may be able to. It's difficult to tell from here. Okay, so he's. It looks to be lining up a double.
There you can see the angle of the red close to the bottom middle as we look at it. Does just about double, but he's going to have to get that right. He can't see the full pocket, I don't think.
No, I don't think that doubles actually. So I think he's looking
30 seconds.
to send this one into there. So yes.
And Neil's not had a happy start to this second set, I think it's safe to say. Standing back at the table.
So these yellows are going to looking quite inviting.
It's almost set up at the bottom of the table, almost snooker-like with the three yellows and the black.
Yep, he's going to take these four out at the top and then work his way down, take the bottom three. Black, nice and out in the open.
As actually, it might have been easy to think that the 2 yellows on the bottom cushion might have been seen as problem balls, but when that yellow and the black are so close to them, actually someone won't mind that too much. Just has to be precise with his positioning. It's not the easiest of finishes, but he'll back himself from here.
30 seconds.
See matches going on in the background. We've also got the ladies semi-finals that are underway. 2 great matches, and we'll see the final of the ladies later on as well this evening to see who will be the World Ladies Champion.
Yeah, this competition will be decided today. The final of the tournament we're currently watching will be live later on. Simon Ward here would love to be a part of that. He's got a long way to go until that. This was a key shot, and I think he's just about happy with that. Can just see the potting angle of the bottom cushion ball if he needs to. Which he does well. He's left himself enough of an angle as well to come back up for that yellow. Should be routine from here.
So he's not hanging about. I'd like to have hit that a little bit harder.
Just a little bit closer to the cushion than he would have liked, but doesn't have to worry. It's not straight. It's a fairly straightforward finish for Simon Ward, who wins 2 on the trot pretty quickly as well. After losing that first set, that's exactly the response he'd have been looking for. It's one of the women's semi-finals in action over on one of the outer tables here.
Yeah, that's Natalie Madden who's playing there. She's in good form at the moment. So Neil Raybone, his stats, he won the Morocco World Series event, and more recently he won the Netherlands World Series event, so he is actually the form player coming into this event. Was many people's tip to lift the title. And again, you know, the players that is beating him are the top players. You know, it takes that kind of calibre of player to beat Neil. He's top draw.
And it's difficult almost to judge heading into this championships, because essentially really it's the first championships of the season. It's always quite difficult to tell where the players are at, but also it's the longest tournament by a long way. Set play completely changes the game. And Neil here doesn't look too happy with his lot once again off the break.
Yeah, he's got a yellow that he can pot, so at least he can continue with the break. He'd like reds. He'd love reds, but I don't think...
I just think he's trying to figure out, is there any way he can get to the one by the middle pocket, but I don't think it's all too safe a shot. He's going to choose yellows.
So he's got to be thinking about how he develops the yellow nearest to black. That's his problem area.
So that area by the black is the area that he's going to have to develop. Luckily, he does have 2 yellows near that space.
So that's the yellow that he's got to look to develop if he wants to win this frame.
So Neil here just taking a look at how he gets to the bottom of the table. This was his only real problem ball at the top.
Extension.
I think what he's thinking about is trying to possibly get the white somewhere here. That would leave himself an angle where he could. Doesn't want to be straight.
You can even see the potting angle on that one. I think from his facial expression, this could be tight.
Yeah, that white's just running an extra inch or so.
Let's have a look here.
Oh, that's tight. He's missed it. He's missed it.
Oh, well. Now, I just wonder, though, he almost went halfway house. If he couldn't have seen the potting angle, he might have had an option to play a bit of a billiard shot off the cushion and onto that yellow, but...
Well, I think he's just missed out. There was room for that. It was tight, but it went, and so I think that's an unforced error, really, from Neil.
Yeah, it's certainly an error of his own making. That positional shot just ran him out, and that's where you really see just how much the cue ball control is so essential in this game. Neil looked odds on to clear there, and just overrunning by an inch, if that, has derailed his frame.
So Simon's just going to pot this red and just run through and just nudge that black out so it goes into the same pocket, just like that.
He's left himself a bit awkward on the cueing. And as you can see, that red does go into the middle pocket.
Yeah, could even play it off the other red just to control the white a little bit better.
Just a couple of cannons to really good effect there. Well, that red, though, might just gone a touch safe. If it's gone up the rail rather than into the jaw, I'm not sure that pops, you know.
That looks mighty tight.
That is going to be very, very close, isn't it? Two reds at the top of the table. He's not going to be too fussed about, but
Yes, he's going to try and bring the white off here, and then over to there, just to develop that red.
that's a really good shot. How's it come out for him?
Yeah, he's going to like that. He's going to like that. It's never easy to predict who Simon Ward will play. His shot sometimes, he's such a creative player, but he's going to try and run this white round. Something like that. Now he's going to go off the side rail. Yeah. There's a couple of ways he could have played that one.
Yeah, there's the angle. I don't think that did go into the middle pocket, so he did have to move it. He's just having a little look here. If this cuts into the middle, or is he going to have to take it long?
Yeah, he should be able to just drop this in dead weight.
Slips on by. Simon Ward then has made a rapid start. He seems to like the TV cameras. As soon as they're switched on, he's raced away here. Oh, but
That is incredible.
1-3 shot.
after all of that, he cannot believe it. What a moment for Simon Ward. And he didn't actually have to worry too much about the white, because it doesn't matter if he pots the yellow as well. That just has to go down as a missed pot. Quite remarkable. what a moment. Simon Ward, just when it looked as if he had the frame in the bag. And this now, for Neil, could well be the frame just when he thought it had got away from him. Simon Ward, for the second time in the match, when he's on the black, has really handed the frame away.
This could be a massive turning point in this match.
And there we go. Neil Rayburn thought he was all out of it. And here we see the route to the final, this from the last 16 onwards, so we can plot the two players' route through. Neil Rayburn, I think a really tough game against Liam Dunster, came through that 3-2. And then in the quarterfinals last night, 3-2 against Jimmy Carney as well. They were here very late last night to get through that match.
It's a late night thriller, that's for certain. He was 3-1 down, was Neil Rayburn, in the deciding set. Showed his mettle, won the next 3 frames, and scraped through at nearly 1 in the morning, 4-3.
Now that is an incredibly difficult thing to do, is to win 4 frames on the spin like that. And there's the break from Simon Ward. He's got a couple down, so he's just going to have a little look here at the table. A couple of reds down and a yellow as well. It's not the easiest setup. A couple of issues, namely at the bottom of the table. Looks like he's going to choose yellows here, and he's looking to disturb that yellow straight away.
He's just a little bit out of sorts, is Simon at the moment.
Having looked so smooth just a couple of minutes ago, that miss on the black, you just wonder if it's still playing on his mind a little.
I don't think he'd be human if it wasn't. But Neil must be licking his lips, thinking about getting a 2-set advantage.
30 seconds.
He's just taking a look around the table here, son. He has got a couple of options. Nothing particularly easy, though.
Trying to send that one up the rail. Very difficult shot.
Just caught the jaw in the middle pocket.
Yeah. He's just off the pace a little bit at the moment, is Simon. But as we know in set play, it can soon turn around.
Well, what happened to Simon could so easily happen to Neil. It was an aberration, really, for Simon Ward. Been so consistent on his potting. Very rare that he misses anything that doesn't really look missable.
30 seconds.
As I mentioned, it was a strange one because he didn't really have to worry too much about the white. Sometimes when you see what look like easy misses, it's because they've tried to squeeze the pocket or control the white. That one just seemed straightforward.
Yeah, it wasn't really close. It was a difficult pot, but to not even get past the middle bag, I think it just shows that he's just not quite there at the moment, and it's just impacting on his cueing a little bit. So, but you know, I think it may be just a little blip, and you know, it can soon turn round with a good pot here and there. So. We shall see how it develops. But Neil looks the more composed of the two, that's for certain.
He's going to play safe. Didn't like the lay of the balls there for the rest of the frame. And Simon's back in. So look then, what's Simon thinking? I think he may well be snookered. It depends if you can see that yellow towards the top of the table.
This is the problem area here.
well. He wasn't just
That's a
not
fantastic
snookered.
pot.
He's fired it into the pocket. That's a terrific shot from Simon Ward there. Neil Raeburn would have been a little concerned he hadn't left it totally safe, but Simon Ward fires back into action. Mentioned he wasn't particularly cueing the best following that missed black at the start of this frame, but he was back into life with that one. That's a great shot. And all of a sudden the frame is back in his hands.
Yeah, we've still got this problem area though. Around here,
30 seconds.
this area here. So he's got to work out how he's going to try and develop that yellow. He's still got his extension. If he needs to a little longer to think about his plan, but that is a very, very good positional shot.
You could almost play this with the natural angle playing ball here. It doesn't have to do a huge amount with it.
If the yellow goes, he can just use the black as a guide and play on it. Play the positional shot there. If the yellow doesn't go, then he's going to have to go directly into the yellow to develop it.
How careful has he got to be with the black ball here?
Well,
30 seconds.
ultra careful. Obviously, he's had a bad experience in that first set with the black, so.
He's fired it in, and I think he's just been a little unlucky. I'm not sure if he can get through that.
I don't think there's any way through there. He's played the shot well. He's a little bit unlucky if the white rolls just back a turn.
Yeah, I wonder if he'll play this safe or if he is going to go.
He's screwing back into an area here, around here.
So look, where's the white ball? This is the crucial bit.
Wow.
I think that's a brilliant shot.
What a positional shot that is.
Can he squeeze by that black? If he can, it's a brilliant, brilliant shot.
That could be the positional shot of the week.
He can just get there, and that drops. Now, we've been in this position in the last frame here. Simon Ward will want to make sure more than anything else that this just goes in. No messing about. He goes into a 3-1 lead. There he goes. Terrific play from Simon Ward. Really good clearance. Gets a ripple from the crowd here as well. That shot just before the final yellow. Absolutely terrific. This is Simon Ward's route through to the finals. You can see it's the semi-finals, I should say. As you can see, he's not had things easy. The game against Mark Boyle, we've already mentioned, 3-2, went to the very last frame, and the same again with Dan Davey. And then just 10 minutes later, he's up against the #1 seed, Mark Farnsworth. That was 3-1, but that didn't tell the story of the match. That was a very, very close game all the way through.
Yeah, he lost the first set, and then the next 3 sets were all deciding frames. He won 4-3, 4-3, 4-3, and you know, on another day he could have been sat in his room now thinking what might have been, but came through at the crucial times against Farnsworth.
So it's Neil to break as he looks to stay in this set. Simon 1 away.
Solid break from Neil, but he's dry.
Let's have a little look at the lie of the table here. This is the break again.
Didn't give it full power, that one. I think he took a little bit off of that.
Simon already back at the table. And at this point, it's an interesting setup, this one. Simon's going to look to be reds, especially with how that yellow sits above the black.
Yeah, let's just see if that last frame has really pumped Simon back up again and he's regained his focus, because that was a huge frame to win. That positional shot was absolute class. So yeah, he's going to put this red into there. Probably just bring the white off here into the centre of the table. in this sort of region. But predicting a Simon Ward shot is not the easiest thing. Just leaving the white in the centre of the table, give himself options.
Yeah, I think his main problem to solve will come to the bottom of the table. That red into the cushion and the red along the cushion. He's going to have to be quite precise on.
Well, we know from the last frame how good his positional shots are.
30 seconds.
You see, just takes a pause there. Referee just called the 30 seconds in the shot clock. And it's just made him rise back up the table and back down now. Interesting dynamic that for the players, isn't it? They don't like being disturbed when their hands on the table, but those are the rules. Referee has to call it out when it hits 30.
Yeah, that's the rule. He may actually play a safety shot here. He may just not develop the red that's below the black and just to knock it off. Just put the white behind the black and develop the red into a better position.
We just saw the referee's hand just hover over the table there. What was he looking at?
Yeah, I think he was just looking to see if the red was touching the cushion, which makes me think he's just going to play a little safety shot. It's not in their nature to play safety shots, that's for certain, but
of course,
sometimes there is a need, and yeah, he's refusing that option.
That's not unlike Simon Ward, put it that way. Nearly overshot that. I think he can just get to that red. It is amazing, isn't it? We saw him play one of the positional shots of the tournament just about 3 or 4 minutes ago. That one was a touch easier, but I think he's just overrun, but I think he's okay. Can't see the whole pocket, so he has to be precise here. There he is.
So he's going to play the one on the rail now, on the left rail.
I mentioned about being precise. If this is touching the cushion, he's got to get this exactly right. There's no bones about it.
This is a thin one.
Just drops and he gets it.
Doesn't want to be straight though. So I think he's going to have to screw the white back there and there. Probably going to have to screw the white back. If he's got the angle, something like that, it's difficult to tell. If he's straight, he can play that shot.
It's a long screw back all the way across the table.
He's certainly not short of cue power, isn't Simon Ward?
He's playing with a touch of right hand side here.
He's played it well. He's played that really well.
And once again, his cue power and his positioning just bailed him out at the last hit. This is now for the second set to tie things up for Simon Ward. And it drops nice and safely, so he takes that set by 4 frames to 1. And he levels it up, so 1-1 in this one. Those are the match stats. Simon Ward and Neil Raybone almost tit for tat here, very, very close. Simon Ward marginally ahead on frames. He's had a lot more table time, particularly in that second set.
I think out of the two, Ward will be the happiest. He's not been on top of his game. He's had a few missed pots, you know, a little bit of bad run with the white going in off the black. But you know, the 4 missed pots and still be 1 set all is, I think he'll be the happiest of the two.
Yeah, well, indeed.
Neil certainly looked the most composed of the two, and the start of the match did look a little bit one-way traffic, but Simon's found a way to get back into it.
Yeah, Simon vision. You're joking. Bloody hell. This is the 11-5. A very warm welcome back to Bradford. Semi-finals of the World IPA Pool Championship. Simon Ward taking on Neil Rayburn. And Simon Ward back into it after an excellent second set. He won that by 4 frames to 1. He jumps ahead on the frames 1 stat at the bottom. But you can see just the one about balls potted a long way ahead, which just shows he's had a lot more table time than Neil, particularly in that second set.
Yeah, I think what's happened is he's cleared the balls and then missed blacks, so it's disproportionately showing that he's potted more balls. He will be concerned about the black he missed, and he was a bit unlucky, you know, when the white went in off the yellow in the first set, but you know, he's back in the match now, so here we go. It's a best of 3 sets.
A couple of reds have gone down. This is an interesting setup, you know. Let's take a look at this break again. Bulleted in a couple of reds. But he's going to have something to think about here, because each colour has its problem areas.
Yes, well, if I think he wants yellows, to be honest. So I think this yellow here will go past that red there. But what he may want to do is try to put this one first. So it just depends if that goes. Looks like it does, but probably only half a bag.
He'll be hoping when he does pot that yellow at the top right, we can see that he can just disturb that red and clear that pocket. If he does that, pretty much he could be home and dry in this set.
Yep.
In this set.
Still the black. Rather. Sorry, yep. Still the black to
of course,
to work on, but he can worry about that with these 2 balls at the bottom end.
Yeah, for those non-competitive pool players watching us here, which there'll be a few, it's often a tactic by the best players to work back from the black when they get to the table in terms of figuring out their clearance. So he'll definitely be considering that.
Yeah, absolutely. The black's the most important ball, and generally what the players will do is they'll see which pocket that black's most naturally meant for, and then work backwards from their colour to get to it. So he's going to try and smash a double in here. He's a bit unlucky there. He was trying to double that off the red to clear the bag, because he didn't clear it when he played the other red down the rail. So he's just about a centimetre away from nailing that.
Yeah, it was heading into the pocket, but he only had half a pocket to aim at. It did make it difficult. Did make it missable, and that's what's happened. Neil here with an opportunity then.
So obviously he's got 4 reds out in the open, and the red nearest to black is tied up. Now he's got a couple of ways he can play this. He can play the one into the middle bag now, so into here. Maybe send the white down here. Try to disturb them. Or he could look to play off this ball here and send the white along this path to try and move it. So we'll see what he wants, what he prefers.
Looks like that's the path he's tried to play. Got the pop, but didn't quite get the white where he wanted it. Just came into the yellow rather than head back up into that pack, and now he's got the issue of trying to break those up, because I don't think he's got a particularly easy angle to do it. Can he maybe hold this white off the bottom red?
I think he's probably going to be looking at a double. I can't see he's got a way into that.
can just see there actually if the yellow just glanced a touch closer to that pack, he'd have broken it out beautifully. He wouldn't have had to worry about it. Those are the margins. And so Neil, I think, asked for his extension.
Yep.
Here.
He's sizing up the double. Even if he gets the double, he's still got work to do because the black hasn't got an obvious pocket to go into. Looks close. Oh, just ran round the rim of the pocket.
I can't believe it. There's the angle from above. You'll see this perfectly. Just called it a touch on the thin side. You can see he's shaking his head behind Simon. A rueful look at the table as well. He knows that could be his final visit in this frame.
30 seconds.
Or even might be tempted to say it should be his final visit in this frame. So I'm just making sure he's got his route plotted out.
He's running out of time. So you probably take the yellow that's over the bag now, so that frees it up for the black.
Will he be tempted to play his cushion first, maybe just to get a bit more angle on it?
No, he can just he can either just roll it in, or he can come off two cushions like that.
I can see it fine. That's nice played.
He's played that well. Played that well. So he's the hard work is done. He just needs to roll this yellowing up the rail.
Seconds.
So we're just taking his time here.
You can just run it through. Yeah. So yellow obviously into this pocket. I think he can bring the white out somewhere here. Somewhere along here. That was pretty good, that wasn't it?
Please yourself. There you go. It's almost as if you'd actually drawn it on the table and he played the tracer.
The thing is, he's not perfect on this. You can see it's quite a thin shot. So he may have to be a little bit creative and come off two rails with lots of right hand side.
Yeah, he's
Not straightforward.
30 seconds.
I don't think he can play it thick enough just to drop himself on the black.
And look at all that side he's put on there to keep the good position. That was a tremendous shot there. A lot of skill needed to do that shot.
Yeah, that was a lot more difficult
On
than it
the
looked
right hand
there.
side there, and it grips on this cloth, so he can come back for the black into the corner bag, which he nails.
Yeah, he made that look pretty easy in the end. Simon Ward, he'd have been worried after that missed double earlier on in that frame that Neil was going to come in and snatch it, but he does get over the line. And he's on a good streak here, Mr. Welshman.
Yeah, he's certainly regrouped after that first set, where he looked decidedly edgy. But you can just see Simon there. He looks very focused now, trying to stay in the zone.
Well, Simon's won 5 of the last 6 frames. Momentum is all with him at the moment.
Neil Rayburn to break.
Neil
Trailing 1 frame to 0.
could really do with a good break here, just to focus himself back in. Still very early in this third set, of course, but he wants to arrest the momentum. Oh, it very nearly went in. But actually, he's left himself perfect on what would have been his problem ball.
If you noticed on that break, he gave that a lot extra than he did on the in his previous break. He really threw himself into that one.
And sometimes players make their own luck, don't they? And he's ended up right down the cushion on the red. Just wonder if he'll take that one on first.
Yep, absolutely. This one into here first.
Extension.
He's just got to be a little bit careful.
Yeah, red by the black isn't the easiest. It doesn't pass the red into the corner pocket, so he might have to do something with it. Oh, he didn't want to do that though.
That is that's an unforced error. Now it's Neil whose body language is
Neil
not ideal.
looks unhappy with that, as well he might. Someone studying the table here, and of course he now has a chance to really steal the reds off Neil. No one wants to be yellows in this frame with the way those three are clustered on the right cushion. Simon back at the table, and Neil just struggling here in the last sort of 45 minutes or so, almost since we've been on air, to really get his hand on the table and get himself a run of pots.
Yeah, he's got zero momentum at the moment, and missing that pot has not helped that at all. I think Simon was trying to get to that problem area straight away there, and hasn't succeeded, so he needs to come up with a plan B. If he can get the white into this sort of area, then it'll give him the option of the two reds. I think that's where he's going to aim for now, so I'm going to try and leave that circle up.
Yeah, this is the crucial next shot, because if he might not be able to disturb it, but if he plays the bottom one first and the top one after, and that's exactly where he wanted to leave it.
He'd have liked an inch less, but he'll be happy with that. He can just.
Yeah, lovely shot.
He can just. Well, he can take the one into the middle. I think he's got a choice here. He can use the black to cushion the white.
30 seconds.
Yeah, 30 seconds called again by the official, so I'm just taking his time. This is the key shot to the frame.
Extension.
And it would make it 6 out of the last 7. You can see there, whilst he's played a good shot, he knows he's not perfect. Just another little look at the shot clock.
30 seconds.
In fact, he's asked for his extension.
I think his problem is when he pots the red, I don't think the white will hit all of the black to stop it where it is. I think it's going to glance off the black and he won't have to position. So I think he's just going to pot this and try and run into the red, just like that.
So he'll be able to pot the reds. The last thing he wants is to get entangled in that group of yellows, though. This is the crucial shot now.
Yeah, there was just a nice natural angle for him to hit that gap.
So this once again for the frame for Simon Ward. He's on a roll at the moment. Here's the Welshman. 6 out of the last 7, 2 frames to nothing in this third set. Take a look now at how Neil got to this stage. He really has had to work hard, particularly in those last 16 and quarter-final matches. Lee Ray and Simon Webb looked like a walk in the park compared to Liam Dunster and Jimmy Carney, which both went right to the very wire. Jimmy Carney was 3-0 up in his final set against Neil. Neil roared back to win 4 on the spin at about what felt like 4 AM last night to get through to the semis this morning.
It was just about the last match.
Simon Ward to break.
Last man standing last night, this morning. And against Liam Dunster as well. Another tussle of a different type. He was 2 sets to 0 up in that, and Liam came back at him. And then Neil showed his strength in the last set.
Well, it's another break with 1 down for Simon. Black's gone pretty safe, but looks like he'll be reasonably happy with that. So what's his areas here, Kevin?
Well, I think he wants yellows. Yep, so he's going to take that one into the middle. Then he's going to take this one into the right centre. 1 up the top rail. Clear that side of the table and head down to these 4 yellows that all pop into a pocket. And then he'll try and leave himself an angle on his last yellow so he can just drop in behind that black where that red is. Easy from here? Not easy. In a World Championship semi-final.
I was going to say, you've all made that sound incredibly easy. This is anything but. The way Simon's playing at the moment, you absolutely wouldn't rule it out. And a couple of moments of weakness with a couple of missed pots, uncharacteristically. But other than that, he's been very, very consistent.
I think Neil will be feeling quite frustrated as well. He's not really had a look in this last 6-7 frames. He's just had to sit and watch and admire. Taking the right under one of the 2 reds, using the red to glance the white off.
Knew he could play that a little bit harder with that red in there.
So this is where the work starts to get a little bit tricky. Making sure he leaves himself the right angle on his last yellow to get onto the black.
30 seconds.
May use his extension.
Yeah, but he doesn't really want to disturb that black if he can avoid it. That would be his ideal scenario, just to drop in behind it.
That's a nice shot. That's a well thought out shot. So he's going to take the one into the middle bag now, try and hold the white exactly where the yellow is, which would give him the perfect angle to pot his final yellow and getting on the black. Superb, well thought out shot.
It's really important he missed that yellow on the way through, and he played it perfectly. Screws it nicely into the middle.
He's made the pot, but has he got the angle? He's I think he's going to have to kiss onto the black.
Yeah, he's almost got a little bit more angle than he wanted, certainly to drop in behind it at least.
So I think he wants to just pull his yellow, then just try and glance onto that black, hit it about half ball just to develop it
30 seconds.
into that pocket there.
Extension.
Can't quite see the angle, but I think that's where he's going to try. And he's missed the black completely. But that's what he was trying. He was trying to hit that black half ball.
Not for the first time. Simon Ward running into a little bit of trouble on the black ball. What's his play here?
Well, he's the most creative shot maker probably in the game. He's going for the middle into. He's going for the double into middle bag.
Carl Neal have been sat in his chair, already having given that up.
He didn't have much choice.
Neal just surveys the table.
Just about the only shot he had on was the double. He couldn't go for the double into the top corner bag because the angle wasn't there. So he's seen the middle bag as his only option. It's pretty close, but not close enough. A little bit unlucky not to have had anything else on, but it all stemmed from not developing the black on his last ball.
And even with not necessarily just the development either, the positional shot on the yellow before was a touch out there. I mean, we're literally talking centimetres, Kevin, but if that positional shot was a little bit tighter, he wouldn't have had to try and develop the black.
Yeah, but Neal's he's just going to be trying to get some momentum going with his cueing. You can see he's just losing the white a little bit, although he has got an angle here. He's going to try and pop that and develop the red. Alternatively, he could just put that ball and leave himself a double. He's very good at doubles, is Neal, one of the top players.
Yeah, he's just looking at that now, isn't he? Where you saw where he pointed the cue ball. I think he is definitely taking a look at the double.
Seconds.
And he's just going to try and play for that, I think, here.
Just be careful that this doesn't run too far. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Almost perfect.
There's the angle of the double. Doesn't have to worry too much about the white because he'll be on the black pretty much guaranteed.
Yeah, where his cue is there, he's looking to double that back into there. The white's probably going to come round here
30 seconds.
like there, just for that nice easy black.
That's what he's looking at.
It's easy to draw it, it's a little bit harder to play it. He's nailed it.
Did it perfectly, hasn't he? Great shot from Neal Rayburn. And it's a simple black now to really steal that one. Simon Ward for the third frame in the match. Caught out on the black ball. He's potted the white off one, he's missed the black, and he couldn't develop the black in this time around, and he's given a frame away. This one's going to go close. But if we take a look at the senior competition, not the only competition, of course, the men's world championship here. This is the seniors. This is open to players who are 40 years and older. Race to 7, and quite a lot of the good players are in this competition, as well as the one-ranked woman, Colette Henriksen, at the end, taking a win over Paul Harkness. Some good results there.
Yeah, that's impressive from Colette. So she is the reigning women's world champion, and she's had a dabble at the seniors event this year, and taking out one of the IPA professional players from Scotland in Paul Harkness. That's a tremendous performance there from Colette. The seniors getting harder and harder to win. Standards just going up and up.
Yeah, players seem to be playing for longer, don't they? There's more than one former world champion in that seniors competition.
It certainly is. It certainly is. It's a great event.
And it's interesting, isn't it, when you see that, and you compare it to something like a sport like darts, for example, where, you know, they say that a player, once he gets beyond sort of the age of 40, that's past their peak. It's not necessarily their physical powers, of course, but it's stuff like their eyesight and stuff like that. But pool players they seem to have a little bit of an extension on that, at least.
Yeah, and we're seeing that in the professional rankings that the top 2 players last year are well, one's rapidly approaching 40, and the other one is
I'm sure he'll forgive you for saying that.
I won't mention any names, but and the other one is over 40. So yeah, Paul's not one that you know, it's not like a sprinter, you know, past 30, 35, and you know, you need to get into coaching. There is a bit more longevity.
Bit of a billiard shot there from Simon to get himself away in this frame. He will be reds. Not the easiest setup on the table, though. Has got a little bit to think about.
Yeah, as always, it's difficult to predict what Simon's going to play, but he could put this one into this pocket here and bring the white down here to try and develop that one.
30 seconds.
But as usual, he's gone for something completely different.
Just wonder if that red is pretty cuttable into the middle, and he might just ignore developing them altogether, or even just play off it on this one. That's what he's looking at. That's what he's looking at. He won a good red ball. I think he's got one.
Yeah, his danger was that he wasn't going to be left on a red after developing that one off the side rail, but
he almost had the insurance policy, the one in the bottom left, didn't he?
he did, yeah.
So here, once again, in command of the frame, and he'll be pleased about that, because he wouldn't have wanted to dwell on the last one where it looked like he had it wrapped up, only for Neil to come in and sweep up.
So looking good for the frame. He's going to take this one into this pocket next. He probably could spin the white round this sort of way. Something like that.
That's left himself maybe a fraction short, just makes this a little bit more of a difficult pot, but should just about be okay.
Maybe double this. No, he's clipping it. Must feel he can hold for that red.
Just use the yellow to really good effect there.
I think his heart would have been in his mouth for a split second there. He could have just glanced off the left-hand side of that yellow and left himself no shot. But
that's happened a couple of times to Simon already in this match. Right towards the business end of the frame. Of course, just haven't quite run his way. And he'll be relieved to now take a look at this black ball for a relatively straightforward shot to finish off this frame. And he grabs it.
There he goes. So I'm not sure what Neil's going to have to do to get back into this match. He needs to find some fluency from somewhere.
Once again, take a look at the seniors. This is a quickie competition. They play race to 7 frames in the seniors, and this is a look at how it's going in the last 16. Jeremy Hooper, Dan McVicker, Jason Twist all getting victories.
Yeah, there's a standout match at the top there, Carl Morris and Lee Clough.
That wouldn't look out of place in this semi-final.
Yeah, 2 players who are on the comeback trail to the game. Carl Morris, ex-world champion. Lee Clough won many, many titles. Class act. So that's going to be a great battle. And
it's a little bit surprising. Lee Clough, I saw him on Free Sports a couple of days ago in the earlier rounds. Looked really, really good against very good player Jordan Shepherd. Just wondered, with the way he was playing, if he might have made it a little bit further in the main competition here. Simon Ward absolutely destroyed that back there, by the way. He's had a little smile to himself. He's almost cleared up from the break.
Absolutely. Balls flying everywhere. Yellows in there, reds in there, another red in. And it's often the case, though, when you absolutely demolish the balls like that, you never leave yourself anything easy.
Oh, always the case, yeah. He potted 2 yellows and 2 reds. They're all spread absolutely beautifully, but he's got to be really careful here not to let Neil in, because it's a clean-up for whoever gets the first shot here.
All he's got is a plan after all of that, so he's going to plant the red onto the yellow. And he's missed it.
Oh, he's furious with that as well. He is absolutely fuming, because this now looks so easy now for Neil Rayburn. This wasn't an easy shot. He just caught it on the wrong side of the yellow. Anywhere on the other side, I think he'd have been all right, but that was the one place he didn't want to make contact.
Yeah, I think he'll be disappointed. I think he would have expected to pop that, and yeah, he'll be feeling a little bit frustrated that after arguably the biggest break of the week, with balls flying in every pocket virtually, that all he was left with a tricky plan. So good news for Neil. He can just take advantage of that.
Yeah, this is a gift horse, this, for Neil Rayburn. It's not often that he comes to the table with a setup like this. It's not easy, of course, but when they're spread apart so nicely, he'll really back himself, just making sure he's dotting the I's and crossing the T's here.
30 seconds.
So there's a couple of ways he can play this. So he's obviously going to pop this into there. He can probably just bring the white up and down off this cushion into here, into this sort of area. Or alternatively, he can obviously pop that and bring the white round here. So yeah, just leaving the white in an area to give himself no obstacles. So this red's going to go into that pocket there, and white's going to screw off the side cushion here and come back over there.
Yeah, perfectly played. Just has to be careful not to leave himself a little bit snookered on the black, but he should really be okay from here.
Just going to stump onto the yellow.
Yeah, nicely done from Neil Rayburn, and he'll be pleased with that. It was a bit of a gimme off the break, but sometimes players are guilty of almost overcomplicating things, and just in double checking, sometimes it all becomes a little bit harder. But that was nicely done there from Neil. Professional job to really punish Simon for the missed plant at the start of that frame.
The two players there, know they're in a battle. It's evenly poised. Two frames all, one set all. Difficult one to call how this one's going to go. I don't think either player is in full throttle. I think there's a lot more to come yet. But the pressure and the tension of the situation is they only have this event once a year. It's the one they all want to win.
And in terms of the competition, that since 2014, neither of these two have played in World Championship final. It'd mean a lot just to be there. I mean, even more to win it, of course. And I think Neil is going to come up dry there.
Dry again. It's been a bit of an Achilles heel for him off the break. He's had 3 dry breaks. Three dry breaks and 2 fouls from the breaks. It's not been good.
So Simon now has a bit of an opportunity to punish Neil for his break. He was unlucky on the last one, didn't leave himself a shot after a very good break. Neil's probably isn't at the same level, but looking pretty open. Double hit. No, into the ready goes. The camera angle just caught me out there. And Reds is the choice. Got a problem. Reds just by cushions, namely the one at the top of your picture there. You may look to develop that when it does pass into the bottom pocket.
So it looks like this one into theirs next, this second, this third, and this will be his 4th ball, but he'll need to leave himself an angle. So we're looking to leave the white somewhere here for this last ball so that he can get across onto the black. The other way.
Simon catching you out again, he'll do that.
Yeah, he does it all the time. So he's going to put this one that he's going for now, then this one down the rail, and he's going that one into there.
Just perhaps leaves him an easier positional shot for the black, doesn't it?
So that's my second attempt to
second guess Simon Ward. Never easy to do.
That's where he's going to go.
It did mean he had to take on a more difficult pot initially. But it should save him a little bit of trouble later on, which has been where Simon has been caught out, if anywhere, so far. That one drops.
Play that well down the rail. Always tricky shots down the rail. If you don't hit them 100%, then they're not going in. But he's played that well.
This would be for the 3rd set for Simon Ward, having been 1-0 down. He's looking at being 2-1 up here.
It's difficult to say who's been the best player, really. Simon's missed more pots. He's broke better. This is for the, like you say, the 3rd set, and 1 set away from the final.
For knowing these two, it'll at least be 2 for both of them. We're looking forward to a really close finish. Simon Ward takes the 3rd set then. That is the break he was looking for. And having been 1-0 down, he is now 2-1 up. Do you get the sense, though, that this could yet to go the distance. Both of these two hugely talented and both very used to going the distance in this competition. So there we see the stats. Simon definitely breaking better, but he's also missing more pots.
Yeah, and the pots he's missed have generally been on the black, which means he's potted more than Neil. But certainly in the middle part of this match, he's got on a roll. He won 6 out of 7 frames to stamp his authority on the match. But I wouldn't say both players are at 100%. I think both will know they've still got more in the tank. So you know, we can expect some fireworks now, because you know, it's now or never for Neil. He doesn't want to leave anything out there.
Well, we will see if Neil can come back. The 4th set of this semi-final is coming up next. Bradford, we are here for IPA World Championship action, and this semi-final is heading into the 4th set. Neil Raeburn took the first, Simon Ward has roared back in the 2nd and 3rd, and now sits at match point. Neil needs a good start in this potentially penultimate set. He'll be hoping so, at least. Or is Simon going to do exactly what he did in the quarterfinal, lose the first and then win 3 straight? That is a much better break, though, for Neil Raeburn. He's been struggling a little bit on the break, a few dry ones, but that one is about as good as he could have had it.
Yeah, got the combination right of the timing and the power there, so had those balls moving around the table. The advantage for Neil in this set is that he's breaking first, so as in tennis, the break is so important, the serve is so important, and
also here he had 3 yellows down, and I think yellows is going to be his choice as well, so this one could be over very, very quickly.
I was just looking at the times for the sets, and the times for the sets has slowed as we're getting deeper into the match, as the players, you know, the tension builds up, the arms tighten a little bit.
It's just that mental idea of don't make a mistake. So even for the simple shots, they're sometimes using a little bit more of the shot clock than they perhaps would at the start.
Absolutely.
A lot on the line for these two here. Neither have been in a World Championship final before.
This is the biggest tournament of the year, and they want to be in that final tonight at 8 o'clock.
They both had to work so hard just to get to this stage. It would be a real kick in the teeth to then exit at the semi-final stage. Both have had to come through gigantic games. Neil has had 2-3-2, so has Simon Ward. Both might have to overcome a third if they fancy getting in the final here. Neil, though, has to win the next set to do that.
Oh, he's leaving himself a double. I thought he may have played on it into this bottom left-hand corner, but again, he's lining up a double. Just exactly where his cue was there. It looks pretty straight in, so won't have to do too much. It's pretty much playing straight in. It's all about getting the pace right.
Extension.
Yeah, just double checking this. This is spot on. It does look fairly straightforward, especially for a man with the double ability that Neil has.
He has used his extension. He's taking the maximum amount of time he can on this. He knows the importance of this shot. Wants to hold his serve, as it were.
Key to the frame right here, and he's buried it.
Absolutely, never in doubt.
Straight into the heart of the pocket. He's left himself nicely on the black as well, stunned into it, and Neil Raeburn here will take the first frame of this crucial 4th set.
That's a great start from Neil. Exactly what he wanted. Nailed the double under immense pressure. He knows if he misses that, he's a big underdog then.
Can we take a look at the women's draw? This is the last 16 on to the semi-finals. We'll be seeing the final of the women's competition later on here on Free Sports. Colette Henriksen taking on Vicky Lomax, Michelle Rooney taking on Nat Madden.
Yeah, and Michelle Rooney, she's taken out two-time world champion Deb Birchall, and she also took out one of the pre-tournament favourites, Emma Cunningham, a multiple world champion. So, so she's on fire at the moment.
The ladies do play best of 3,
and I think he's gone dry.
Yeah, Simon Ward there. I think for the first time in the match with a dry break, or certainly for the first time in a little while. I think it's his second, but somehow that red ended up staying out, and he'll be glaring at that pocket as he sits in his chair. And Neil now with a chance here to go 2-0 up. This is just the start. Neil would have been after.
Just going to watch this this red heading for the top right-hand corner pocket. He tried to go in, he had a little nudge, but just refused.
So Neil straight on to reds.
He's got work to do on this finish. So this red here is one that could cause him some trouble, but there's a few ways he could go about getting on it. He could be ultra aggressive and go for it within a couple of shots time. Maybe put this red into here and stun the white down here. Would be one option, although I think he's going to go for this one first. He could even look to, as another option, yeah, get the white in this area and then play the plant, that red up there. So
that seems to be the safer option, doesn't it?
He may be looking for that option now.
I think that's what Neil's looking at here.
Shows that he's thinking clearly, not panicking, not letting the situation of being 2 sets to 1 down get to him.
How difficult is that for the players once they get to this sort of stage of the competition? TV table, everything on the line.
Well, it takes tremendous mental strength to come back in, in any sport when you're behind, and so. But we know Neil is one of the stronger, he's got a really strong mental approach to the game. Knows how to win. Knows it's not always going to be straightforward. So don't be surprised to see him come back really strongly into this set and take us into a decider, which is a neutral we all want.
Seconds.
He would have liked a slightly better angle, but I think he's just going to drop this in off the yellow.
He's just going to make sure, because the red actually now in the top left isn't automatic, because in playing the plant he's not left it exactly over the pocket.
Yeah, so obviously this red's going to go into here. Depending if he's straight, he can either screw back up here or play plain ball up here.
30 seconds.
Or come through this gap. So he's got a few options of how he might want to play it. It looks like he's screwing back.
That's a terrific shot, really got into that nicely. I don't want to be straight on this though. And judging by that facial expression, I think he might be. Needs to get down for the black.
30 seconds.
Just going to run this round in through the gap. He's played that perfectly.
Neil totally fine there to sweep up and take the frame. I did just wonder when he played that last positional shot, really didn't seem to be happy with where he'd left it, but he made it look so easy once he actually got down to play this shot.
Yeah, cleverly played that red off Simon's yellow just to keep control of the white ball.
And as we mentioned, plenty of competitions going on here in Bradford this weekend. This is the mixed doubles competition, always a fun event, and some good matchups in this one as well.
Yeah, again, it's an event everybody wants to win, and you know, you can see some big names in there. Jordan Shepherd, Jack Whelan, Carl Morris, Clint Jansen. There's some big names in the mixed doubles as well. It's another event that's growing year on year.
So Neil straight back to the table. Ball spinning like a top, the white there.
He almost screwed the white into the middle. It wasn't his best break. Look at the white there spinning the 6 red dots there. Almost hypnotic.
30 seconds.
So he's going to be looking at reds, pretty certain here.
What's Neil taking a look at here? He's got a couple of issues that he wants to solve.
Yeah, he's going to pot reds. He's going to pot this red into the bottom right-hand corner as we look now. He's just working out what his best way is to try and develop those two that are stuck together. Not literally, of course, but he's got a couple of ways he could go about it. The safety option is always there, but these guys don't want to take the safety option. It's all full-out potting warfare where they're concerned.
Yeah, especially these two players as well. Played that
and
dead weight.
He did play the safety option.
Well, Neil Rayburn doesn't get the pot, and I don't think, as you say there, Kevin, I'm not sure he played for it. It's difficult to tell. Because if it had dropped, he easily could have carried on. But Simon back at the table. I think that Neil will be relatively satisfied here, because those two yellows that are clustered together, they can't now go in the top right pocket as we look.
So he's looking to take this yellow into this pocket and then send the white over here, try and disturb these two yellows there. He's also got the potential of using this yellow for a potential skill shot onto this ball. So he's got a few options that he can look at.
A reminder, the skill shots are an option for these players when they can pot two balls of the same colour. They have to pot their own, but they can pot the red, which is what they've just done there. That's a terrific shot from Simon Ward.
What a superb shot that was from Simon Ward. Just when you think he's out of the set, he pulls that out, and straight away he's back in.
And apart from anything else as well, the way the yellows have ended up, considering before he played that shot, he had 2 yellows tied up and a red covering his main corner pocket that he wanted to play in. To end up with this situation is an absolutely remarkable shot.
Yeah, that's the beauty of black ball. It can turn around in an instant, and that was a perfect example of it. That's why the safety option from Neil was, you know, he knows what Simon's going to do. He's going to come back and attack attack that ball that he'd put over the rail. So,
what's your thoughts on the decision making behind the safety? Because he obviously could have potted the ball, but I don't think he was happy with how he could have taken on the rest of the Reds.
It was the first time in the match I've seen a little bit of muddled thinking, I think, from Neil, because it was almost a nothing shot. You know, it was now
the white wasn't particularly safe, was it?
Yeah, it was
definitely let Simon have a bit of a go.
Yeah, it's sort of here nor there type of shot. So it'd be interesting to get his thoughts on that at the end of the match. But that's an excellent positional shot there from Simon.
And depending on how this set goes, Neil will not want to give his opinion. May not want to give his opinions on that shot, because if this frame goes Simon's way, which it looks like it should, it could be a really crucial shot in the context of not only this frame, this set, but also this match as well.
Yeah, and it gets Simon back on serve, so it'll be his break next.
Just double checking the black. It is close to that red, but potting is there for him, and there it goes.
No doubt. The referee Mel Harley there watching over things.
Taking a look at the mixed doubles here, some really interesting pairings. Obviously, sometimes these games delayed by them doing well in singles competitions, which is why we've got a few still going on there, but some really interesting pairings.
Yes, I mean, Jack Wheeler and Emma Cunningham is the standout pairing there, but Jordan Shepherd, Rachel Tucker, another one. Michelle Rooney, Scott Ross. Yeah, I mean, there's the last year's winners, I've just noticed there, Clint Ayance and Deb Birchall, they've been beaten. So we'll have a new name on the trophy this year.
Fourth frame.
Yeah, the trophies all gathered in the foyer here at the venue. It's a constant reminder to the players. Every time they walk into the venue, they see those trophies. That's the first thing they see when they come into the venue here in Bradford.
Yeah, it's a very impressive trophy for the winner.
It's a good break from Simon as well. Last one came up dry, but no such danger of that. He very nearly got an unfortunate ricochet in for the white there, but survived it.
He's got an 80% success rate on his break. It's what these guys are looking for, especially in semi-finals.
Yeah, just contrast that with Neil. He's had a little bit more issue with his break.
Yeah, Neil's around the 50–60% mark. So that goes some way to explaining why Simon's 2-1 ahead.
And you've already made the tennis reference, but it really is so important to have a good break. It is almost like a serve in tennis in that sense.
Yeah, it's a funny one, the break. Everyone, you know, says that it's the most important shot, and it is. But you know, again, two of the top players, two top ranked players in the world have arguably got not the best breaks in the world. So
we were discussing that yesterday with Mark Farnsworth, weren't we? The player that Simon Ward beat in the quarter-final. His break is definitely the weakest part of his game. That's not to say it's necessarily bad, but the rest of his game is so very strong. But he quite often has to dig himself out of a hole created by his own making.
There's no secret formula to it. You just try and smash them as hard as you can and pray to the gods.
Well, we saw with maybe the most unique technique we've seen so far in this competition, Ben Davies last night just takes one long swing back, and it's all in the sweetness of his cueing. One long swing back and through, almost pump action shotgun style.
Yeah, he doesn't mess about, doesn't Ben? Down, cue up, whack.
Of course, the big debate now between the players is whether they break from the middle or from the side, it's a constant change for some of them. And it all depends on what's in vogue at the time, I think.
Well, I saw something last night that I've never seen before, and I've been around pool for more years than I care to remember, and a guy broke and he hit the side cushion first. So he hit the white into the side cushion and the white into the pack.
How did it work out for him? I'm genuinely so intrigued.
Well, the one I saw, I know he did more than one, but the one I saw, the white flew off the table. So it was obviously bounced off the cushion, hit the balls, and then it flew off the table.
So looking to hit the side of the pack with the break, sort of third, fourth ball down.
Yeah, it's not something I would recommend to anyone who's wanting to start playing the game.
Looks just about perfect on this yellow here, Simon. Just depends if the black's blocking him off from the putting angle. I think he should be okay.
Yeah, again, he's got a couple of options. I think he could possibly play that first and just leave the white up here in this sort of area. If he plays this one, he has got to make sure he's absolutely millimetre perfect, otherwise the white will be going up at the top end of the table.
Yeah, he's just called his extension. What's he looking at?
So he needs to leave the white here.
Oh, it doesn't quite drop.
I think he's tried to pinch as much of that bag as he thought he could to hold the white, because it was really important that he had the right angle on that yellow. So yeah, he's tried to drop it in off the knuckle, but these pockets are playing tight.
Yeah, that might look like a bad miss to the naked eye, but he's really tried to play that in the tiniest possible gap in the far pocket, just to hold that cue ball where it is, because he needed to drop the ball below the yellow to be on the black.
So hands the table over to Neil.
So Neil with 5 balls left. And of course a largely open table, with Simon having done a lot of the hard work.
So I think what Neil's going to be thinking, he's got his yellows in all open play, so he's just going to try and leave his last ball so he can put the white in this area to leave the black into this pocket there. So that's where he's going to be working around these next four reds.
He won't particularly want to play off a red at the top, but I think he's not going to have a huge amount of choice. He wants to leave the bottommost red as the red to get onto the black, but he's not going to have the option to do that. Going to have to come from the top of the table, which makes the positional shot tricky.
Yeah, he's got a big area. He can play pretty much anywhere in this area here, and to leave himself the black. So he's got a big area to play into now. So he's going to be feeling confident about this.
So that's 2 reds for Neil. He'll screw it back onto his final red. This is the key positional shot to get himself on the black.
Yeah, I think he's going to go like that and bring the white over here. He could screw it down as well. There's 2 ways to play it. I'd say this is the easiest way to play it. Just let the white do the work top it through, a little bit left hand side.
That's exactly the shot he's played.
This is a little tricky one, this one. It's no gimme.
Especially not at this stage of this competition and this match as well. Every time the black ball needs potting, those pockets look a little bit tighter. First frame of this match, this goes in no trouble. This is a little bit more difficult.
Yes, used all of the pocket.
Looks a little bit relieved almost then, Neil Raeburn, doesn't he? Here's the stats of the match. Neil Raeburn leads in the set. He has to lead in. You can see there, the stat at the bottom, frames one. It's very, very tight. Just shows how close this game really is.
Watching it. Looks like we're heading for a deciding set, unless Simon can get on a roll.
And interestingly, one thing that you can see from that is there's not been too many clean visits. If you take a look at, considering Simon's had 2 dry breaks, and the rest of all 8 of them he's popped the ball from, there hasn't been a single breaking dish from Simon. He's really had to be made to work hard, even when he is potting off the break. The replay of the break from Neil. Does get the red down, so he will be at the table.
So he's not really spoilt for choice too much, but it's looking like yellows, and that'll be his natural choice. Probably first up. This one into there.
30 seconds. Extension.
Yeah, the yellows are actually quite nice. Looks like he's sizing up. He obviously can't get that one into the left middle, because I'm pretty certain that's what he'll be playing.
30 seconds.
Does play the yellow into the top corner. I think the one in the middle went, but I don't think he liked it particularly. Took the long yellow on. And Neil here has 6 yellows remaining. And it's not the easiest setup here for him. Ball on the top cushion could be easier. The one at the bottom left is held up in behind the 2 reds.
30 seconds.
Yeah, he's going to have to play the one into the middle first. No value in the one into the top left-hand corner. He didn't really want to be touching that red.
I think we may well see. Safety shot here from Neil. It's not the easiest setup for him.
Well, I don't think there's much in the way of safety. I don't think he'll want to go down that route. We know what happened last time he played a safety.
That will be playing into his mind though, won't it? Because the last time he did it, it went all wrong for him. So he will try and attack out of it if he can. He has got the one up to the top left, or indeed, as you see there, the one to the top right. But it does look like he's playing the safety.
He's gone to his safety mode.
I think that's a slightly better one than he played last time.
Well, you never know with Simon, the most creative pool player on the circuit.
The only potting option he has is maybe to drill that all the way into the top corner, which, I mean, nothing would surprise you with Simon. It's a difficult shot with the 2 so close to each other.
30 seconds.
He could just look at stunning it, couldn't he?
he would like it to be not straight, and then he can. Oh, you could see that one. He's just hit the near knuckle.
Bit of a shot to nothing there from Simon. He knew he was getting a good white ball out of it.
Yeah, kept it tight, not left Neil much. I don't think he can take that one into the left centre off the red. I do think Neil may have, on his previous shot, instead of playing the safety, may have pushed the boat out a bit, either taking the one into the top right or even the one into the top left corner. You know, keep that aggressive mindset. But
it's understandable the player's just tightening up a touch, though. He might be taking this middle one on, you know.
yeah, I think it must go. He's not got it.
I just wonder if he could actually see the potting angle, and it wouldn't even necessarily have been the potting angle because he had a very big pocket there with the red over it, and now Simon could be in here because that red still goes past that yellow.
Yeah, so that one goes in there, which then he can cannon the white onto that red to develop it. So that shot will be in his mind. He may not play it now, but that's what he's going to be looking to do.
30
So you can
seconds.
see there the red over the middle pocket definitely passes the yellow, and that makes a cluster of 4 at the top of the table, which is eminently potable. Had to make Simon the favourite for the frame hit.
Yeah, I mean, even if he gets really, really good position, he can put the one into the bottom left-hand corner, bring the white. So he can put that into there, bring the white off the cushion behind it, and knock the red off that way, so he can get behind it. And then he would leave that red into that bag there.
She uses the yellow to hold there. So this is a fairly crucial shot. Needs to leave the angle on the red at the bottom of the table here to play the cannon that he wants.
I think what he's tried to do there is just to nudge this yellow down that's over the centre bag here, so that this red would go in off it. So I think that is what he's looking at. So that's a really clever shot.
He's just trying to see. Be interesting to see if we can get an angle, see if that red passes. It's going to be very, very close. Really close. That's the easy red. Past the yellow. So this is a crucial shot then. Needs to get a good position off this.
He's going to drag this in. He's missed the pot. He's forgot the pot.
Oh, a bit of a grimace from Simon there. He's just having a look at Neil's body language as well, just to see what he thinks of his position.
He's played that with. He's hit the white at the bottom, played with a load of drag to really take the pace out of the white ball. But concentrating on that position, and he's forgotten about the pot.
30 seconds.
Certainly didn't expect that.
I don't think Neil was expecting it either.
He's just going to play a little safety, containing safety, glance off this yellow and try and leave the white touching the red. Well, I think he can. I don't think he'll be too happy with that one. He wanted to get that white touching that red, so to leave Simon no shot, but I think Simon's got options here.
Yeah, this has been an enthralling game, but it hasn't been the perfect performance from either player. Mistakes are creeping in.
He wants that red in there.
Didn't quite get completed, and now
so tricky for Neil, but great camera shots being brought here on Free Sports.
30 seconds.
So it looks like he's going to take the long yellow, top left-hand corner.
just double checking the shot clock before he got down there.
He's only got 13 seconds left.
Played that really nicely.
So obviously he's going to take this one into here next, and this is his problem area. So I'm not sure if that yellow goes past that red.
I think it might.
Mighty tight.
It's going to be really, really tight. That could be the difference in the frame, and I don't think it does, looking at that.
That is mighty tight. It can sometimes be a little bit deceiving.
Yellow drops. There's the angle. You can see there. It's incredibly tight. And the thing is with the red wedge right against the jaw, there's not a lot of room for it to sort of be bounced away out the pocket as well.
I think the way he's lining it up, it doesn't go. So I think he's going to put this into here, white off here, and try and bounce this this yellow out there.
You can see that's the angle he's looking at.
30 seconds.
So this is the shot. Crucial one. Oh, beautifully
Where's
played.
the white going?
Can promise you Kev's lines weren't on the table there. Neil didn't use them as a tracer. That's all his own work. Perfectly played by Neil Raybone. And now he has to be favourite for the frame from here.
He does, but there's still work to do. So he's going to put that, and depending on the angle, it's difficult to tell. I think he's probably going to screw the white back, something like that.
30 seconds.
He may not need to screw it back as much as that. He could just. It's a little edgy one. He's short.
Now we do know he likes a double, but he didn't really want to leave himself a double here because it's not easy for the black. Looks like he wants to play the cut, but this is missable.
It's whether he can hold it for the black, or whether he needs to bring the white twice across.
Doesn't like it.
It's not. He's trying to kill the white. He's going to play this slow.
Oh, now this is difficult.
Decided to take the more difficult black.
Right on the cushion. Up the table. This is a difficult shot, but it would tie the match. There's no easy shots at any stage of the match, and particularly feel at this stage this could be crucial for Neil Raybone.
30 seconds.
Biggest shot of the match so far.
This could well be crucial, not just in this set but also in this match. And it's in. Brilliant shot from Neil Raybone. There was so much pressure on that pot, and he really, really played that nicely. And we will go to a decider once again for these two. it's ever so even. They've both won the same amount of frames. And we will come back to a deciding set once again in these World Championships. It's going down to the wire. Who's going to the final? After the break. And a very warm welcome back. It has gone down to the wire once again here on Free Sports. We've seen this a few times this week. Both of these players are no stranger to a decider. Simon Ward and Neil Rayburn. We've already done this twice in the competition. We are doing it all over again. You can notice those frames getting longer and longer, and the length of the sets as well is doing the same. We head into the final set. Nice to see a handshake between the two players. This for a place in the final then, and it's going to be Simon Ward to break first.
Is having the break going to be the deciding factor?
Every time we've had a deciding set, it has just gone down and got very nitty-gritty into the final sets. Players tighten up and they just don't want to make any mistakes. And Simon's had a good break there, but this is not an easy table. I think that face tells you that.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure there's enough ink in the pen to draw what he might be thinking here, but I think he's forced to put a red because it's the only one he can see. So, you know, he's probably going to put. No, he's not even going to go for that one. Wow, he's played a safety.
I think it's the first safety shot we've seen Simon Ward play in this match.
How can you predict that? That's, I always think that, you know, even though he didn't have much to go at, I think, you know, pot a ball, get on something, get on with the frame. I didn't see any issue with putting that red, you know, and then, you know, developing from there. I think that just a little sign of negativity. I know it's the deciding set of a World Championship, so it's fair enough. But
you can see there that yellow does go, and that's the one that Neil's going to play here.
He's missed it.
And he's missed it now, Rayburn. He might get away with this, because I just get the sense that neither player here wants to take on anything too risky. Simon does have an option up to the top of the table, and he does want to be yellows. That much was clear when he turned down the easy red.
Definite early signs of nerves in this final set from both players. Understandably so. So much at stake.
The winner of this set will head into the World Championship final. Neither player has been there before.
It's 1-0, one on the CV.
As we alluded to earlier on in the match, with both players having worked incredibly hard to get here. They both had difficult pass through. That's a terrific shot, by the way, from Simon. I mentioned that they'd sort of almost tightened up a little bit and gotten a little bit within themselves at the start of this frame. Simon's just exploded out of his shell there.
Yeah, but still not easy. But he will move this yellow. He will play some sort of double, treble. I'm not sure if this is possible. I'm not sure if that's possible, but either way, he just wants to get this yellow out.
How about a quadruple?
Yeah.
If he'd have played that harder, it was on its way in, I think.
But he wanted to get that out because he's still got control to a certain extent of the frame at the bottom end of the table with that yellow over the pocket. So he felt it was worth the risk.
Yeah, that's the key area, isn't it? With the yellow over the pocket, which ironically Neil left, is going to be Neil's main problem here, because that is blocking 3 of Neil's reds. And whilst there's the option
30 seconds.
for the skill shot where Neil can take out the yellow as long as he pots one of his own reds, those are not easy shots. You've got to be perfect on it to really get both in at the same time.
Yeah, there's no obvious skill shot, so he I would like to be Neil Rayburn in this position.
Balance of power is all with Simon Ward here.
30 seconds.
Where's that white going?
And actually, it's an interesting dynamic, isn't it? Because the more Neil pots, the more of the advantage he gives to Simon as well in this potential safety battle.
I'm not sure if this top red goes into there. I think if it does, then he's just going to give this everything and just try and disturb this this area in the bottom left-hand corner. Let's just see if that red goes.
I think that's the shot he's playing.
Yeah. So this could in an instant.
There he goes.
That's what he did. Played a superb skill shot.
He got the yellow out of the way, yeah, just out of the camera shot there. He did pop the yellow that was over that corner pocket, which is, of course, the other way of playing a skill shot. Doesn't have to go in the same pocket. If he's going to be picky, he's not left himself an easy red. This is the shot again, really nicely played. But he wanted to avoid that kiss on the red there, I think, as he came back up the table.
He did, but I think he'll be happy that he's still in this frame. Because it was looking a little bit grim a few shots ago, so he's turned it around with that great combination shot.
Is he potentially looking at here that the long red at the top of the table? He feels a little bit hurried here, I think, Neil Rayburn. He's just shaking his head.
Not sure that goes.
Looking perhaps into the other top corner. He'd look to play the kiss off the yellow. I'm not sure if he was playing the pot there.
I don't think he's going to be happy with that one. That was a shot played under some serious time pressure there, and I think certainly had an impact on that shot.
And that's the issue with the World Championships. Minute shot clock. Whilst it might seem like a long time, in a safety battle like this, you've got to make some really quick decisions. And it hasn't quite gone Neil Rayburn's way. Simon back at the table, back in the balls. And he's now a big favourite to win this frame from here. Neil knows it.
You can go for either one here. I think he'll take the one nearest the bag at the top first. Bring the white across back to this side of the table.
Actually, he can afford almost to
30 seconds.
go the other way.
He didn't quite get through that one. I think he's okay, but only just.
It's going to make for a fairly difficult black shot, I think.
So you're going to obviously pop that into there and try and bring the white down and back over into this area.
Oh, he's played that quite nicely. Didn't quite get as much of it as he would have liked. It's not an easy shot, this. Here we go for the first frame of the deciding set. Gets it.
There it goes. First blood, Simon Ward in this epic semi-final.
You can see there by how long he's been at the table. He's gone through 2 pints of water already. Penny for these two gentlemen's thoughts. See that scoreboard tick over. 1 frame to nothing for Simon Ward. But Neil Rayburn will know he's not out of it, even if Simon goes 3-0 up. We've seen Neil in this tournament already recover from the brink.
Absolutely.
he won't be too concerned. But in an ideal scenario, Neil would rather not do that again.
Second frame, Neil Rayburn to break.
I think Simon will just be thinking, if I get a shot on his break, it's a bonus. He'll just be trying to focus on his own breaks and just try to win those frames. If he does that, he wins the match.
Oh, and the white's gone down. Oh no, Neil Rayburn, the white has gone down. He can't believe it.
One free shot, one visit.
How unlucky is this? The white's just travelling around, going nowhere, and just gets kicked in. He's going to feel a bit sick.
I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? With the way the break goes, sometimes if the white goes straight in off the pack, you've only got yourself to blame, but that's complete lady luck, and it's gone against Neil Rayburn here. What's Simon looking at here, Kevin?
Well, I mean, he can go for either colour here. He's just going to, I think, probably develop something, just make it more open than it is now. It's just how he sees it. I mean, yellows look really nice, but he could play a set-up shot on the red and go for red. So
Extension.
Yeah, this is a free shot for Simon Ward, which means he'll usually use this to develop some balls because they don't have to play a pot.
I think looking at these two reds that I think are planted to there, so he could look to go for reds, but
30 seconds.
if he did want to go for reds, he might want to move this ball, but he really is spoilt for choice.
That was the one break that Neil's really done there, where he didn't want to go in off. And this is why, because the table now looks very, very inviting here for Simon Ward. And 2-0 in the final set is not a decisive advantage, but it's a very, very good place to be.
So he's going to play the plant here, red onto yellow. So it's still an open table. So he's on the yellows now, and you can see with that opening shot that he played that he worked it out really cleverly, and he's made it as easy as possible, which is what you want to be doing at this stage.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see there on the scoreboard, Simon Ward used his extension to figure that puzzle out when he got the free ball, free shot. Really used his time well, and this frame could be over in the next 30 seconds here. Actually, I tell a lie, he's going to take a lot longer than that for these three balls. It could be over in 30 seconds if maybe we're in the first frame of the second round, but he will just make sure for this one.
Yeah, if it was in the club, they'll be racking the next setup. World Championship semi-final.
Is there a danger that they can overthink things when it gets this tight? Because, as we all know, Simon Ward could whip through these three balls without even thinking about it. Is there a danger of maybe putting almost too much pressure on yourself here?
Absolutely, but that's a situation that creates that, and you know, those who can handle it the best and play as if it means nothing, but it means everything, will be the ones who is probably lifting the trophy. But this is a huge frame.
Simple stone shot in.
He's putting 99 balls in the match. His 100th ball gives him another frame.
Not a bad way to bring up your century. In that sense, Neil Rayburn is looking a very morose figure right now. It's 2-2, but it is 2-0 in the final set. Simon Ward here with a big advantage.
And that foul from the break in that frame, a stat that Neil wishes wasn't there. He's winning that one 3-0. Never a good time for that to happen, but in a deciding set.
Third frame, Simon Ward to break, leading 2 frames to 0. Time
You see
running.
there with the ball spotted stats. Yeah, Simon spent an awful lot more time at the table than Neil, particularly since we've joined the coverage from the second set onwards. It's been difficult at times for Neil to get into a rhythm. That's a really good break. Got into them beautifully, Simon. And once again, this table looks very inviting. And you have to say, even at this early stage of the frame, you have to make him a big favourite. This is the frustrating thing for Neil on Simon's break. Sometimes you just have to take your medicine as a player.
That's it, not much you can do. I think Simon Ward's beats per minute is just going up a few notches.
30 seconds.
Realises he's got an amazing chance to get to 3-0 up in this set.
Chooses yellows, and a few half years be like, oh, he's crazy, he's potted more reds off the break. But actually, pots aren't really ever the issue for these players. It's always position, and when you've got less of your opponent's colour to navigate around, it does make it easier to break.
Yeah, we've seen it in this match that you know, you can put 4 and 5 balls from the break and leave yourself nothing on. It's all in the lap of the gods, and you just hope that they're smiling down on you when it matters.
30 seconds.
Certainly seems to be with Simon at the moment.
He would have liked a little bit more pace on that one. Just another little couple of turns so he could bring the white down to this end of the table. But he's going to have to leave the white up here somewhere. He's probably going to have to leave it sort of in this area.
30 seconds.
So that he can play this one. Possibly screw the white over here and back.
Well, the good thing is for Simon here is he doesn't have to worry about the black. That'll take care of itself. Just has to get there.
Yeah, he's running it round. Played it well. Played it really well.
So this is now routine for Simon Ward. It is going to be 3-zip. Neil Rayburn has done this before. He's come back from 3-0 down in the decider. It's a very difficult thing to do. He's going to have to do it again if he wants a place in the World Championship final. Simon Ward is 1 away.
That was a 10-ball clearance. 10-ball clearance there. 3 from the break. 6 yellows and a black. Out to work. Extra for his frame. So what's Neil thinking now? Has he got anything left in the tank?
I love that. A little bit of a stomp on the cue. Bit of a rousing come on to himself. This is a huge break. Absolutely huge. Needs something to go here. This is dry and Simon's at the table. It could be Neil's last shot. Gets one down. Where's the white ball? Stays. It's not the easiest lie, but he's at the table, and that's the most he could have hoped for, I feel.
He's at the table. He's got a yellow, so he's in control. He's saying that's all you can ask for from the break. He's obviously got this area here with that yellow tied next to the black.
30 seconds.
His only real problem. Going to roll this up the rail, bring the white across for the other yellow into the same pocket.
Every shot here for Neil takes on so much significance.
30 seconds.
This isn't an easy shot up the rail, and with the weight of the world on his shoulders for this one.
We all know before Neil is. He's played it well.
Played it really well, yeah. The thing is, Neil now knows he's been in this position before. With him being 3-0 down, there really is now no margin for error. He has to be perfect from here on in. Just taking a look at the angle on those reds at the bottom of the table. Just trying to see if that yellow by the black will go into any other pocket. I think it'll go into the top pocket,
30 seconds.
the bottom right as we look at it on the picture here, but interesting to see how Neil takes this on.
He would have liked to get another few inches. Guess obviously putting this one into here, the white's coming down here away from where he wants it to be. So this is without doubt the biggest shot of the match, maybe even the biggest shot of Neil Raybone's career.
Huge pressure shot, this. The yellow next to the black does go up to the top corner. If we can get that away, he should win the frame. See, there it goes. It goes nicely. He won't want to leave the black safe. He's got to be careful of that.
30 seconds.
This could be to save the match. It's going to be close.
It's near knuckle.
He's missed it.
Near knuckle. It was never in.
And could that be the last shot Neil Raybone plays in this competition? It really wasn't easy. He played the white ball and the black ball perfectly, but just missed it near. Here it is again. Just saw.
Went absolutely gun barrel straight. It was never in. So everything's pretty much out in the open. I think the only problem for Simon Ward is holding himself together.
He's gone straight on this ball on the cushion to get that out of the way. That's his only one, which in theory should cause him issue. But if he can, as you mentioned, if he can keep himself together, these balls will be pretty routine for Simon Ward. Neil Raybone will be looking back at this set if it does go Simon Ward's way. Just wonder where it all went wrong. 4 frames to 0 in the final set. It hasn't been easy for Simon Ward, but Neil Raybone will certainly have been hoping to make it a little bit more difficult for him than this. We're ticking over now to the 3-hour mark in this one. Simon Ward is, you feel, minutes away from the final.
Anywhere in this area.
He's in it.
It's a choice of 2. I think he'll play that one first. Just maybe screw the white back off that yellow, off that red, and here. He doesn't want that red to get in the way.
Oh, well, he can't believe it. There may well be a lifeline yet. This is an awkward plant. Nothing's ever simple. Simon Ward thought he'd have it all his own way in getting to the World Championship final, but that is now a difficult shot.
Yeah, it's just simply overhit it. You know, it's 6 inches too far on the white, and that red had too much pace and got in the way.
30
It's not
seconds.
easy queuing either. If he pots this, you feel he's on his way to the final.
He's potted the red.
And he's got the long one into the bottom pocket. He's having a little bit of a wry smile to himself here. I think his thoughts would be, why can I never just do it the easy way?
He knows the meaning of this ball. He doesn't have to do too much with the white. He's just got to focus on the pot. He can, he's called for his extension. He can just roll the white through. He will be on the black into the right middle. It is 100% just focus on the pot.
Mentioned how Neil Rayburn had the biggest shot of his career to stay in this match. This could well be the biggest shot of Simon Ward's. Pop this red. The black then is a routine shot. This could be the match.
And he's missed it. He's fouled. He's potted Neil's yellow.
Foul.
Well, well, well.
1 visit.
Well, what chaos on the table. Let's take a look at it again. He didn't get anywhere near the pot. Really tried to punch it in. Wry smile from Simon Ward. He knows he'll have more chances, but he knows he made that far more difficult for himself than it needed to be. You mentioned, Kev, he could have rolled it in. What was his thinking there to really trying to punch it?
I'm not quite certain. I mean, I think he just thought, you know, if I can hit it harder, I might cue it better. But he wasn't even close. It was all over the shop, and I just thought, you know, rolling it in. He obviously didn't fancy that. He just wanted to punch it in, and yeah, but the damage was done on the shot 2 shots earlier.
Neil Rayburn survives by the skin of his teeth. Well, here we go. This is what he had.
So yeah, so that's where the action stopped there. That's where he would have wanted it to be, but he's just slightly overhit it. Obviously, adrenaline's kicking in. He knows he's 3 pots from the final, and he's played the right shot. He's just simply slightly overhit it, and the red has gone in front of the other red, and the white's just travelled a little bit further. So I think it was just simply about adrenaline.
Whereabouts is he wanting to leave the white ball here then, Kev?
So he's obviously going to pop this into there. The white is going to screw off there and then just come anywhere over here. This red's just going to go over here somewhere, and if he'd have played it at the right pace, that's what would have happened. But unfortunately,
oh, and of all the times to come up dry, just a pointed little smirk on his face as well.
the last ball moving just inched its way to the middle bag.
Goodness me, he knows how close that was to coming up dry. That dropped in,
And
just at the end.
This is a golden opportunity for Reds.
He's got 3 over the pocket.
So these two here, this one goes in here. He's going to free the other ball up. Everything goes.
30 seconds.
He just needs to forget that last frame and get back into the groove and finish this match off.
Well, that was the issue Neil had. The last frame, whilst he really shouldn't have got a shot to recover it, it was on his break, so he still might not get another shot to hit.
I think what he'd like to do is to get the white somewhere here. Yeah, that's okay.
seconds.
28 seconds left for this shot. So as we said earlier, he's going to put this one into the right centre and just nudge the other one. So this is going into there. He's going to free up that little cluster, and he's going to be praying that he's on that other red.
Just looking at every eventuality, doesn't want what happened in the last frame to happen again.
Well, it goes. That's even better. He didn't even need to disturb it. It goes.
Which a player always prefers, of course. Now from here, Simon Ward should just play 3 relatively simple shots. But of course, in this scenario, every shot gets more and more difficult. We mentioned earlier the scenario of him in practice in the club. He would knock these out in 10 seconds flat. But this is a whole different ball game.
30 seconds.
It's a little bit tricky. He's only got... He's played it perfectly. He just had this area to play into, and he played into it, and he's 2 balls away from the final.
Just needs to get back around the flat. Now he's going to leave it into the middle, leaves it simple. So Simon Ward is 1 shot away here from the World Championship final.
It's on its way.
And he's done it. The Welshman makes his way through. A brilliant win. He really, really had to grind that one out. It's another match that's gone all the way to the final set. Simon Ward will be playing in his first ever World Championship final later on this evening. Neil Raeburn gave it everything, but ultimately couldn't quite get over the line. Simon Ward, having lost the first set, came back in the next 2. Neil Raeburn then roared back in set 4. Simon Ward turned it over in set 5. We'll be speaking to the winner after the break. Well, what a game we've just witnessed here at the Cedar Court Hotel in Bradford. Delighted to say I'm joined now by the winner, Simon. You don't like making things easy for yourself here in this World Championships. Another game that's gone to a decider. You pulled through in the end. What are your immediate thoughts you threw at the final?
I'm obviously delighted that I'm through to the final, but that was probably the worst match I've played all tournament. I think obviously there was so much riding on it to get into the final, and I just didn't really settle all the way through. And then in a few frames where I did settle, the next frame I missed an easy ball, but luckily my break, the last 2 sets in particular, my break really helped, and I made it easy for myself in the end.
Yeah, you mentioned it, in the end it worked out quite well. The last set in particular, a 4-1 victory. You had the chance to make it 4-0. Did that play on your mind heading into what ended up being the final set?
No, I didn't at all, to be honest. I mean, I had messed up the finish, but the ball I actually missed in the end is one of them, you either pot it and it's a great shot, or you miss it by miles and everyone starts laughing, you know. So I wasn't really that bothered. Obviously I was gutted I missed the chance, but that particular shot, it's just one of those balls that it either goes in or it doesn't.
And in terms of the final, what's your thoughts? First World Championship final, just excitement, or are you a little bit nervous now as you look ahead to it?
I'm really nervous, yeah, but nervous and excited. Hopefully I'll be really, really nervous, and that usually helps me concentrate, so hopefully I'll play well.
And in terms of this next semi-final, obviously you've been really well. Any preference on who you'd rather play?
Not really, no. I mean, it would be great if me and Ben were in the final, because we've practiced together for the last 20 years, I suppose, and that would be great, because then at least one of us will win it. But at the same time, a Wales-England clash, and especially on a day like today, would be great, and I think that'll really create a good atmosphere as well.
Well, we'll let you get off and just enjoy the game, and best of luck for the final later on. Congratulations on another TV victory, courtesy of our friends at Leeds Brewery. Congratulations.
Thanks so much. Cheers. Thank you.
next time. Best of luck later on, mate.